This is a tough one for all of us. We don't like to see our kids struggle, no matter how old they are, but it can be an important part of their journey. So here to discuss ways to help your child navigate difficulties and failure, we have Dr. Ashley Stevens from Cabell County Schools. Great topic.
It is so hard, though.
It is. It is. Again, no matter how old your kids are.
Absolutely.
We want them to succeed at everything.
We do.
Yeah.
And we don't ever want them to feel bad.
Right.
And we definitely don't want to have to sit there helpless while they feel bad and we can't fix it.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be good to take the opportunity to say, do it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, let's talk about why is it so important to let kids struggle with some difficulties.
So if we think about for ourselves as adults when we fail, we have this understanding, because we've lived through it before, that like the sun will rise again,
right,
and we will figure it out and it won't feel like we're in the pit forever.
Right.
But the only reason we have that assurance is because we've already been through it.
Yeah.
And so when you're little and you have, little disappointments and you build a little bit of resilience by dealing with those and getting up and starting again, you get bigger and your disappointments get bigger and they hurt just as bad, but you start to build that trust in yourself and that trust in kind of the process that even though you can't see your way out right now,
right,
it's not going to hurt forever, and you begin to trust that you'll be able to figure out what happens next. And it's almost like building a callus on your hands. It's so hard, but it's so important that we let our kids do that.
Yeah. And talk a little more about that. What do kids learn about themselves when they struggle a little bit?
They learn that they can figure things out. Like, how do you know that you're going to figure out this next challenge at work? Because you've figured out every challenge at work for the last, however long you've been working. The same is true for our kids. They know that they're going to, figure out the next assignment at school, or that even if this one didn't go well, they're going to have a chance to make sure that that one is different. And so just learning to navigate life and knowing that this is a part of it. When we don't have any failures, then when they happen, it's, it's shocking and it's terrible. And my generation has been dubbed in some ways that might hit home but are a little bit hard to take. They've called us snowplow parents. You remember hearing about, helicopter parents, right? They're hovering around and watching everything.
I know I was one of those.
They have said, and I am not ready to claim this, but that some of us could potentially be snowplow parents, which means we're coming through and we're clearing everything, not so that, our kids know how to navigate or we know how to dive in, but so that they never have to deal with that. Like, why would we want them to feel bad if they could not?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that they can't build any of that self-reliance, that kind of grittiness and resilience and trust that the world's going to keep going and that they're going to have a chance to figure it out and to overcome the failure and to have things after the disappointment when we don't ever let them kind of navigate that.
Exactly. Now, to be clear, you're not saying to look for failures, or if they're in some kind of danger, don't just leave them on their own.
Absolutely not. Our number one goal is to keep our kids, safe and healthy and protect their well-being. But these things will come. There will be disappointments, there will be failures, and when they do, we have options. And I'm just suggesting that families, before we go through and we start, placing blame or calling to get them out of it, or figuring out a way to sidestep it, that we maybe consider just sitting in it with them.
Exactly.
Because they'll learn that trust in themselves. If we're the people that they associate with, being kind of a steady in the storm, they'll learn that reliance that, like, you're not in it alone, and I'll be here because things will get tough again.
Exactly.
And
they do watch what we do and how we react.
And if we're like, oh my gosh, you're hurting, let me fix it, then they don't think that you believe that they can navigate it themselves either.
Exactly.
And if they get in a place that it can't be, snow plowed out, what do they do? What experience have they had to remind them that this will be okay too?
Okay, so what kind of resources do you recommend where families can look through it and maybe figure out ways to work through these circumstances?
Absolutely. There is a great newsletter from the Cook Center. We've shared their resources before, but they did a whole newsletter about it, talking about not quite celebrating failure, but embracing that it's a part of things. And so they talk about this resilience. They give tips on how to help you navigate. They even have some tips for parents about, like, modeling. If you're having a tough time, let them know, man, this really didn't go very well and I'm having to figure out, I have to work my way out of this situation. So letting them see that they're not the only people in the whole wide world who've ever failed. So this resource from the Cook Center is awesome. And it is also on our website with a lot of other resources from them. They have monthly newsletters, but there also are opportunities for an Ask a Therapist video series where you can get quick answers to common questions. There are on-demand parenting courses, so if you really want to dig into a specific part of parenting, you can. And you can even sign up for a one-on-one cognitive coach that walks you through how you're thinking about parenting, like how you're making your decisions about it. So all of that is free for families in West Virginia, thanks to a collaboration with the West Virginia Department of Ed and the Cook Center.
Wonderful. And if we want even more resources like this, anything else available through Cabell County Schools?
They can find all of those at cabellschools.com, and then you look for families, and it's Family Resource.
That's good.
It's so tough.
It really is tough being a parent. So Dr. Stephen, thanks for helping ease this situation a little bit, and we can all work together for the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.